Hello everyone, my name is James, and today, for my very first video on this channel, I am going to be doing the Booktube Newbie Tag. So to start off, question one is, why did you make this channel? And I think I'm in the same boat as a lot of other people who decide to join the Booktube community. I want to discuss books with other people who are like-minded and who enjoy reading as much as I do. In my own life, I don't really know very many people who read with the same avidity and with the same passion as I do, and that's not to say that I am better than those people, far from it. But I do kind of wish that I had some people in my life that I could discuss the books that I read with. So this is a great opportunity for me to do that. But to build on that question a little bit, I actually have been on Booktube before, and I was 13 at the time. My channel was called Pure Dragon 100. Yes, I can't believe I used that name shamelessly, but I did. And my channel was kind of oriented around science fiction and fantasy, adult fiction, and classics. So as a 13-year-old, I didn't really have much in common with the people at my age in the community. But nonetheless, I still loved it, and I made some friends that, despite the age gap, were really, really kind to me. And the majority of those people are still on Booktube making videos. In fact, you could consider them Booktube royalty at this point. And it's amazing to see how far they've come. But as this year has gone on, I have been thinking more and more about that time when I was on Booktube and how much I enjoyed it, and I just loved the sense of community that I felt. And I guess I just wanted to be a part of it again, and I have the time, so why not? The next question is about what fun and interesting things can you bring to the Booktube community? I think I'm paraphrasing that question, but the basic sense of the question is there. So this kind of a question is one of those that I always dread. It reminds me of, you know, when you're in the first class of a semester or a new school term, and the teacher asks you to introduce yourself to your classmates with some fun and interesting fact. And I don't think anyone enjoys doing this. I'm going to take a different tact with this, and I'm actually going to talk about this bookshelf behind me. It is an IKEA Billy bookcase, but it's actually the Shakespeare limited edition one that they did, and they did it in 3 colors, I think. This I got secondhand. I did not buy this new, and I was led to believe that it was completely plastered in Shakespeare quotes. It may look like it, you know, you can see there's a lot going on, it's very busy, but only half of the quotes are from Shakespeare. The other half of the quotes are completely misattributed to Shakespeare, and they're the kind of quotes that I could see Karen from down the road, you know, with a home-based card-making business using in her cards. Quotes like, let me get one for you. Here's one. When I saw you, I fell in love, and you smiled because you knew. That is not Shakespeare at all. And you can kind of tell just from the way the syntax is. It's not Shakespeare. The thing is, I can't bring myself to get rid of this thing. I think it's a very nice bookcase overall. When you view it from a distance, you can't see the problems, and it's functional. So yeah, that's my interesting, fun, quirky little thing that I can bring to YouTube. I'm really scraping at the bottom of the barrel, guys. I apologize, but I can't think of anything else. So the third question is, what are you excited about when it comes to this channel? And I mean, I'm excited about meeting people, discussing books, you know, speaking with like-minded individuals, because as I said, I don't really have those kinds of people in my life. So I'd say that's the biggest reason for why I started the channel, and also the thing that I'm most excited about. Why do you love reading? Well, I love reading not because it provides an escape from reality, which seems to be an answer that a lot of people give. For me, it's more about grounding myself in the reality in which I live and learning from the reading experiences that I have. I tend to not read a lot of books that are set in fantastical lands anymore. I like to read books about reality, and it's not that I'm averse to reading books in a fabulous or fantastical setting, but I do tend to gravitate more towards books that are concerned with the world that we live in, and that also includes nonfiction. This is my nonfiction shelf here. And so I want to seek meaning from these books that I can apply to my own life, to broaden my worldview, and I think also to improve my own writing, because I think in order to write rather, you need to read. And so I use reading as a tool to instruct not just my perceptions of the world, but also my writing craft. So it's a multifaceted kind of thing. But those are probably the primary reasons why I read. The next question is, what book or book series got you into reading? And that one is easy. It's The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis, namely The Magician's Nephew. I read The Magician's Nephew on my own when I was 5, so it was the first novel that I read independently. And I remember there was one illustration. Actually, I have the book. So this is my copy of the book. And there was a particular illustration, here it is, that I thought was horrifying. That illustration is Uncle Andrew, Diggory's uncle, and it terrified me as a kid for some reason, and it was so, I think because it was so grotesque. And I remember having to cover up that page whenever I read that section of the book, because I read this book multiple times. That's just a funny memory I have of reading this. But I then went on to read the rest of the series and absolutely loved it, and I still enjoy reading these books to this day. So I'd say those books really formed the foundation of my reading as a child. And I then went on to read Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, and I guess the rest is history. The next question is, what question would I ask my favorite booktubers? It's funny, I don't really consider any booktuber my favorite, but I'd say I would want to ask Ariel Bissett a question. Now, Ariel was actually one of my friends way back when I made videos on YouTube, and she's still going at it, and it's great to see, and she's got such interesting videos still to this day. So my question to her is, how do you come up with so many fresh and interesting ideas for your channel after having had the channel for so long? Because I can see that that's something that I might struggle with in later days of this channel, provided that I stick with it, which I hope I will, don't worry. But that's probably what I want to know. The next question is, what challenges do you think will be the hardest to overcome when starting a book channel? I think, honestly, it's keeping a schedule and remaining dedicated to the task at hand. I think this is applicable to any long-term endeavor. It's not just BookTube, but from my own experience in BookTube, that was the thing that I found the hardest, to stop it from fizzling out and from feeling burnt out as a creator. It's difficult. So I think that will be something that I pay attention to as I make more videos. The next question is, when did you start reading? I think I've already answered this, but I started reading when I was 5, at least novels. I think before that I read picture storybooks and things like that from when I was about 1 year old. I don't have an exact number, but I definitely started reading early in my life. The next question is, where do you read? I read in my bedroom, on public transport. Those are primarily the two places where I read, although I tend to get a sore back when I read on my bed, so I try to use my wicker chair, which is over there in the corner. Sometimes though, I'm just so enticed by the warmth of my bed that I will just read in my bed and have to deal with the consequences later, but it's worth it. And what types of books do you like to read? This is the final question. So I have probably alluded to it, but I read more books that are concerned with the world in which we live, more so than going like fantasy novels and things like that. So I read a lot of literary fiction. I do still read adult science fiction because I think science fiction is still informative as to what things could be looking like in the future, while still being grounded in concerns that we have as a species today. So I love science fiction for that. But I also read nonfiction, and I will read any kind of nonfiction. I do gravitate towards science nonfiction, as well as linguistics nonfiction and philosophy, but I will read anything. Of course, I read classics. You can probably see the drop caps up here. So I do enjoy a variety of things. And that's that. So thank you so much for watching. I promise next time I will have a channel name so that I can introduce myself properly as a channel. But as for now, I think this will do. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm very excited to be here back in the BookTube community again, and I'll see you next time. Bye!